snow from the highway. It stretched south through red rock and sagebrush, like a black line painted through the desert. The caravan was taking its time. They had no fuel, of course, only animals, but that didn't explain the desultory way the refugees trudged forward, step by exhausted step. They radiated hunger and desperation. No doubt there were sick and injured in the party, who he could help in the clinic. That didn't mean they weren't also dangerous and armed.
"Get your wives on the radio," Jacob called in to David. "Tell them to open the armory and rouse the militia."
His brother obeyed, flipping on his radio as he came outside for better reception.
"We don't need the militia," Smoot said. "We can finish it here. I'm going to talk to those people. You man the gun, but do not shoot unless you hear it from my mouth. Grover, help with ammo if your father needs it." "I don't see the point in talking," Smoot said. "We posted warnings. They ignored them. Maybe it's over. Maybe the quarantine is broken. You don't know that. That's why I'm going to find out. No good will come of this," Smoot warned. "We can't let the Gentiles into the valley. They'll destroy us."
Jacob was growing annoyed. He had made his decision, but yet again, Smoot kept pushing, and always down more violent, aggressive paths.
"For all we know, they're saints, refugees from Colorado City or one of the other polygamist communities. What happens when you shoot them all and discover they're cousins of one of your wives?"
Smoot sputtered. Jacob didn't wait for him to find an argument, but walked away from the pillbox. He left the horses where they were cropping at the grass and wildflowers that grew among the sagebrush, drew his rifle from its holster, and slung it over his shoulder. David stood to one side, speaking in urgent tones into the radio. Jacob walked to the highway and checked again through the binoculars. The caravan had picked up pace. The refugees must have spotted the gun emplacement. Most of them appeared to be adults, but he saw at least 4 or 5 children. That was good. More likely they were families than raiders. But at least one of the men was black, and a few looked Hispanic, which ruled out fellow saints. Descended from the early Mormon settlers, polygamists were invariably of Northern European descent. David joined Jacob.
"I spoke to Miriam. She wants to load up the trucks and drive out with the militia. I told her to stay in town."
Jacob lowered the binoculars.
"And she listened?" "Reluctantly. You know how she is." "Good. Elder Smoot is more than enough for me to handle. I don't need Miriam's itchy trigger finger, too."
David's first wife was ex-FBI. She was only one of many hard-headed people in town, men as well as women, but in some ways she presented more challenges for Jacob than an Old Testament-style patriarch like Elder Smoot. She had her training. She was ready for the end of the world, and she was convinced she knew the will of the Lord at all times. If anyone thought that giving birth to a child would mellow her, they were mistaken. She was stronger than David, stronger than David's younger wife, Lillian, and probably stronger than Jacob, in all honesty. In all of Blister Creek, only Jacob's sister Eliza could match her will. And Eliza was in the Ghost Cliffs again, searching for a way out of the valley to reach her fiancé. The caravan halted some 50 yards away. Maybe this was Eliza's answer. If someone found their way in, then maybe she could get out. Had the drone quarantine broken? Jacob looked into the sky, but didn't see anything. Didn't hear the familiar and hated whine of turboprop engines. A man stepped forward from the caravan. He raised hands covered in fingerless gloves. No weapon. Stubble covered his face. Behind him, people leaned against the hay wagons or sat on the pavement, wrapped in blankets. Faces looked out from behind steamed-over windows on the bus. The man stopped about 30 feet away.
"Is this Blister Creek?" "Who are you?" Jacob asked. "Name is Joe Kemp. And you are? What do you want?" "We're starving. We heard you have food." "Who told you that?" "Drive them off," David whispered. "We have nothing to give them." "Or what?" Jacob asked his brother. "We shoot?"